Okay. Once upon a time, long ago in Germany, there lived a young woman named Elsie. Now, unfortunately, Elsie was always thinking ridiculous thoughts. If she swallowed a cherry pit, she was sure that a cherry tree would grow out of her head. If a dog barked at her, she would panic because she couldn't understand what it was saying and it might be trying to tell her something important. And if she sneezed, she was sure that she would blow her family right out the door. Now, the villagers, who were fools themselves, thought that Elsie was really clever. So they called her Clever Elsie. One day, a man named Hans heard about Elsie. I like this Elsie. In fact, I would like to meet her. And if she is truly as clever as they say, I would like to marry her. Don't I deserve the best? I know I do. One day, Hans found the courage to knock on Elsie's door. Elsie's mother greeted him. Hello, how are you today? I am gorgeous, he replied. Oh, well. Very well. Are you hungry? I most certainly am. So Elsie's mother led him to the dining table. As they were dining, Elsie's father asked Elsie, Elsie, would you be so kind into getting us some cider from the cellar? Now, Elsie, who had already taken a liking into Hans, grabbed a pitcher and ran down to the cellar. As she turned the tap on the cider jar, she noticed, hanging above her head, a giant axe. Now, Elsie's mind began thinking overtime. If Hans and I get married, we'll have a baby. And when the baby grows up, we'll send him down here to get some cider. That axe might fall and kill him. And Elsie sat down and began to cry. Now, Elsie's mother was getting worried, so she decided she better go down to the cellar to see how Elsie was doing. Now, when she saw Elsie sitting there crying, she asked, Elsie, what is wrong? Why are you crying? If Hans and I get married, we'll have a baby. And when the baby grows up, we'll send him down here to get some cider. That axe might fall and kill him. Elsie, you are indeed clever. And she too sat down and began to cry. Now, by this time, Elsie's father was getting very upset. So he decided to go down to the cellar too. Now, when he saw the cider spilling all over the floor, he got really mad. But he got even more upset when he saw Elsie and his wife sitting there and crying. What is the meaning of this? Why are you sitting there crying? Why shouldn't we cry? Said Elsie. If Hans and I get married, we'll have a baby. And when the baby grows up, we'll send him down here to get some cider. That axe, it might fall and kill him. Way to think ahead, said Elsie's father. And he sat down beside them and began to cry. Now, by this time, Hans was sitting all by himself at the dining table. How rude of them, keeping their guests alone at the dining table. They should be ashamed. But on the other hand, if I'm going to marry Elsie, I should probably go down and see what's happening. She would probably like it. So, Hans went down to the cellar to check on Elsie. Now, he He too saw the cider spilling all over the floor, so he turned the tap on the cider jar. But then he also saw Elsie and Elsie's mother and her father sitting there and crying. But he did not understand why, for he did not see the axe. And he would probably not even know what they meant if he even saw it. For even though he thought he was beautiful, he was not very smart. So, as he saw them crying, he asked, "Why are you crying? I don't get it. This is very weird." Was something I said. "Hans, if you and I get married, we'll have a baby. And when the baby grows up, we'll send him down here to get some cider. That axe, that one, up there, it might fall and kill him." "Elsie, you are indeed clever, though if I saw the axe, I would probably think of that. Marry me." And Elsie agreed into marrying him, and they had a happy marriage and had several children and sent them down to the cellar to get cider, and the axe hung safely above their heads.
Yay!